welcome everybody to Dungeon Nytes this week. We've got some exciting stuff. I'm going to take a couple minutes here because we're still a little bit before 11. We're going to run about 2 hours tonight. And hopefully we'll continue to get better and more efficient as we go. Next week will be the first week that we restream both to YouTube and to the Dungeon Nytes Twitch channel. So you will have an official Dungeon Nytes place to go on Twitch for the things you love. It is not going to be an affiliate channel. There is no plans to ever make it an affiliate channel. So if you would like to support the stuff that we do here at Dungeon Nytes, there will be a Patreon that is going to get set up this weekend. We're going to have some interesting perks. I'm going to be working on some Flowscape backgrounds to put up on there. We're going to have early access to VODs on YouTube and all kinds of different things. Lots more stuff that I want to make sure gets consistent before we do any more announcing. But there's going to be stuff there for you. There's going to be some fun perks, and again, just really appreciate any support you want to throw that way. That also said, make sure that if you guys are on Twitch and you like D&D content and you want more D&D content, please stay tuned to the Dungeon Nytes Twitter and the Dungeon Nytes YouTube channel, because there's going to be giveaways every single month, and there's also going to be little magic. You're just like. There's going to be giveaways every month, and there's going to be... I don't even know what you guys are doing. Are you trying to like high five or make a heart? Because on my screen, it literally looks like you guys are just like making backward C's towards me. There you go. That's better. That's a little better.
Oh my god.
Now you're like making a Stussy symbol from like junior high. I don't know what's happening. What's happening right now?
This is how we entertain ourselves.
No, it's fine. So that stuff's coming. There's gonna be monthly giveaways, so make sure that you're tuned into the Dungeon Nytes Twitter account and to the YouTube, because there's gonna be a video every time we do a giveaway explaining the giveaway and doing some different things. Like, I will give you guys sneak previews since you guys are here and you're awesome, amazing. This month is finally going to be the giveaway for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So there will be that, and I'll be doing a little mini review of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and showing you the book as we do the giveaway in a little video. And the following month, I'm just going to throw this out there now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try. We're going to give away a copy of The Hero's Feast in February.
Ooh.
And the giveaway video for that is going to be me actually making one of the meals from the book.
For your Valentine's Day dinner?
I mean, no, but I mean, there are so many. Oh, hold on.
What stuff?
Ritz Cauldron.
All right. No, so I gotta find what the Hero's Feast book has everything broken down by like race. So it's like, these are things that dwarves would make. And I found one thing that was amazing looking that I wanted to make.
But then under halflings, does it have honey biscuits? Because otherwise...
There is a whole halfling section in here.
Yes!
Let's see.
But is there honey biscuits?
How many of the items contain honey?
There's community cheeses, stuffed egg batter toast, chicken something dumplings, hogs in bed rolls, melted cheeses with chunky tomato broth, halfling oatmeal sweet nibbles, Learwood salad, everything soup, honey ham with pineapple gravy.
Oh, sweet nipples. Excuse me?
Nibbles! Bees! Nibbles! Like the little bunny animated on Twitch. Hi, Nibbles. I love you, friend. And then honey drizzled cream puffs. Ooh.
There you go. That's it. That's the winner. Honey drizzled cream puffs.
And Heartland rose apple and blackberry pie. That sounds phenomenal, but I will not be attempting that. I'm trying to find, though, the dwarven cuisine. The dwarven cuisine was what I wanted. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
They didn't have a halfling meat pie.
No. Hold on. Where is the
Honey
dwarven-
drizzled cream puffs. What else would you need?
Oh, you just wait. Yes, dwarven bangers and mash. Are you ready for this? Nothing makes a dwarf stand quite so tall in the morning as a breakfast platter steaming with sausages and smashed baby potatoes. Potatoes. These
Mashed
traditional
baked.
sausages are sheet pan baked with succulent tomatoes that soak up the juices and practically polymorph into a meat themselves. Dwarven smiths are known to keep their bangers and mash warm all morning in an iron skillet that rests atop their furnace, so they can plunge a fork into it and satisfy their appetites without straying too far from their duties. Seriously, 1.5 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes, some olive oil, some salt and black pepper, a couple leeks, 4 to 8 fresh or fully cooked chicken or pork sausages, 1 pound of large cherry tomatoes, and 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley. I want to make that because it sounds.
I'll voice it over in
delightful.
ASMR for you.
Yeah, I liked it.
I want it.
Sweet.
But yeah, so we're gonna give away that book in February. Lots of good stuff.
Sounds delicious.
Good stuffs indeed. But yeah, so that's
Nothing
coming.
I could
So
make.
big year for 2021. Also, if you guys haven't heard, I'm really trying to devote a lot to this channel. If you guys are again very into D&D or are using things for your games, I'm going to try to do some map making, see if we can get some people in on that. Like I said, interactive backgrounds, a whole bunch of different materials, as well as insights on how we make this magic happen. So,
That magic?
well, that magic for as long as she stays magic. and
Do you
then
mean the
this magic.
overlays?
Like the overlays and the programs that I use and all this kind of stuff, all the tools of the trade, going to be lots of stuff.
That's
so there's going
pretty
to be
cool.
lots of content coming to the Dungeon Nytes YouTube channel, and I'm going to be doing a lot less streaming because of it. So more on that to come. But for Dungeon Nytes specific stuff, for D&D specific stuff, that is the way.
You missed the part where you said monthly Among Us group sessions.
I mean, that can totally be a thing. If you guys missed that, I totally encourage you to go watch on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/nighttide. There's a VOD from Among Us. I'm going to be cutting together one of the matches in its entirety. The one where I killed Red at the end because it's just too good not to. There was a lot of good matches that night. I
So many
must
good matches.
say. But we'll be putting content like that on my YouTube channel. So there's going to be a lot of more YouTube stuff. So make sure you check that stuff out if you are so inclined. That said, let's get into the D&Ds. Y'all ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Usa.
Como sabe?
Let's see. Yeah. Here we go. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Dungeon Nytes, the Rime and the Frostmaiden inspired campaign, episode 6. Last time, our group narrowly escaped a hag who had slaughtered 4 fishermen, the Baumbers, and was trying to cook them in her cauldron for supper. They narrowly defeated her just in time to stave off this ice giant skeleton that she had summoned, and are sneaking their way out of the ice caves currently. Our wonderful rogue Drathar heard howling coming from a nearby ice cave entrance, and the group stealthily made their way out onto the ice with howls in their midst. It is nighttime. It is dark, but little of the moon and stars to guide you. You're out on the frozen lake, carrying a cauldron. And the first thing I need you all to do is to give me a group stealth check.
Bum.
Dagon, why are you rolling a d4?
I was confused too.
Oh, you asked if we were ready, so I rolled a d4.
We were supposed to get rid of those.
I told you 7 was gonna be my best roll tonight.
I'm so sad that you're correct.
I rolled a nat 1.
If we ever get back to town, I think we're going to have to ban Rip from drinking. Portiki is never allowed to have drink again.
Yeah. She does the dance for people on all 4 hooves.
Insane.
I'm a sneaking.
I got a +3 on mine though. Dude, I got a nat 20.
Let's go.
Nice.
We super stealthy. I didn't even need a +3.
I think I canceled out your nat 20 though.
That's better than. That's the best outcome. We're just waiting on Drathar.
How should I roll this?
All right.
Oh yeah.
My
Wait,
20
do I
gets a
have any-
+3, by the way.
Does
That's
I
fine.
get anything? Does I get anything?
Yeah,
I have a
fine.
+3, so technically it's a 4, but it was a nat 1. So does it really count? No.
Well, they'll cancel out as basically a 10. It's fine. But you successfully maintain yourself and head off across the ice. The sound of howling and growling getting softer as you make your way further and further away from the cave. A little bit more, and you make it back to the boat and to the campsite where you stayed previously. What do you want to do?
So the campsite where we killed the harpies?
Correct.
Oh,
Killed the harpy.
true.
We should probably continue to town. It's not that far.
It's in the middle of the night. It's freezing cold. The wind is blowing.
We didn't have a fire at this location, though, correct?
You did not.
It was daytime when we last came through here.
Should we? I mean,
Didn't we
Staying
bring
here.
firewood with us though?
I did pick
We
up that
did.
firewood that we found in the caves. I don't know how long it's going to last. Is there any shelter here from the wind that we could make a fire and have some relief from this snow and wind chill?
There are a few trees, but they are sparse. It would be little comfort from the wind.
I voted
Oh.
keep heading on.
agreed. We should
I
probably
think we should at least try and get as far as we can.
Sure.
see if we can find a nicer, more
And if we keep
covered place.
moving, we'll stay warmer too.
True.
True.
Let's continue. It's not like we have any bombers to carry with us.
Oh,
No,
too
just a
soon.
cauldron.
Drathar?
Yeah. Drathar, your thoughts?
I guess I will follow with you guys.
You continue
Come
moving
on.
through the night, hearing but the sound of wind. Snow falls heavily as you move forward. You begin to feel your core temperature dropping ever so steadily with every hour that passes. And I need you all to give me a constitution check.
Zero addition to Constitution. Tika and her furry little hooves are warm.
The beer in the belly is keeping you warm. Either that or your
Put
adrenaline's
all the beer
pumping.
in that big old belly.
Told you.
Ouch.
Mimi's a little cold. Mimi, just come over here. I'm nice and warm and furry. I got my big furry sweater.
As to
You
you and
are.
Tika seem to be faring and kind of trudging through this rather well. Drathar and Poppy, you begin to feel very cold. You lose feeling in your extremities. And you can kind of become conscious that you don't have any feeling in your face anymore. It's just cold.
How's everybody doing? We good? I'm feeling good.
I'm not
Fuzzies.
feeling so good.
Come here. I've got a big old gigantic. I mean, you're gonna have to touch skin to skin, but I mean, I've got a big old gigantic, sweatshirt on. You come over here, get a little close. We'll do some skin to skin. It'll be great. I'll keep you nice and warm because she has no shirt underneath her jacket anymore. She used it to bind a wound earlier. So you're gonna get a little comfortable with Tika, but hopefully she'll keep you warm.
Drathar, do we need to try to stop and build a fire or something?
Just keep Drathar warm.
I'm not volunteering for that job.
Body heat keeps people warm. If we just, maybe we should all just stay really close together and we'll just like get really, really close as we trudge on.
I mean, if you think so, I'm all
Unless
for trying.
Drathar, you think we should stop?
I will do what you guys say.
Okay, don't die. Let's go.
Don't die, she says.
So they're going to try the cluster approach.
Cluster.
Please explain this cluster approach.
So ST will take the lead, and then Tika is going to wrap Poppy in her sweatshirt or jacket. And then I assume Drathar's kind of taking up the rear, and they're all going to walk in a pack.
Really close.
Like a cluster
Drathar.
of grapes.
I'm basically hugging them both at this point with my big old furry sweater. Let's go.
Okay. You continue on, moving south to Easthaven. Tika.
Yeah?
I need you
Hmm.
to roll a d8 for me.
Oh no. Asking me to roll anything is just a bad idea.
It's okay.
3. Better than 1.
Almost average.
Tika, your intent to warm them both has been good. And while you have seemingly warmed up a little bit, Poppy and Drathar, if you do not seek warmth soon, by the time you get back to Easthaven, you will all be suffering from one level of exhaustion in the form of frostbite. Your open coat is not large enough to encompass the two of them, and you are basically leaching body heat to the cold, even with Estia blocking in front of you. But you press on over the next couple hours through the snow.
We get to any, is there any like trees or rock formations?
Unfortunately, not between you and Easthaven.
Oh.
But you do after a couple hours of walking south, do start to see signs of Easthaven. You come to the dock and see lights in the distance of dimly lit street lamps of Easthaven.
Is there like a boat we can take shelter in?
I mean, you're there.
Well, we're almost there. We're
Yeah.
there. We should probably go back to the end.
Yeah.
Because I apparently can no longer feel my fingers. So to the end we
Yeah,
go?
I agree. To the end, to food and warmth. And the
Okay.
friendly innkeeper.
It takes you another 20 to 30 minutes to trudge your way over to the inn, as it's a bit unfamiliar still, the town of Easthaven, and you stumble in. Barkeep just looks up at you. You're out late?
And we're looking for a warm drink in the belly, a bed for the night, and the Baumbers are dead.
With that, his face is going to kind of get shocked and a bit solemn. He doesn't say anything. Just goes into the kitchen. The fire is lit in the hearth of the inn.
Tiga's gonna move to that after making sure that the the big cauldron has made its way over with them so they can kind of protect it. And then she's going to just sit in front of the fire and realize she's going to look at everybody. Okay, who has the worst frostbite? I can heal one of you.
I'm all right. I don't know about Poppy and Drathar though.
I want both of you to give me a D8 with a DC of 4.
Dragon's okay.
Drathar, even.
Drathar is okay. Oh no, Mimi, get over here.
That's Poppy.
Gosh. Drathar, you're fine. Poppy, get over here.
Over the course of you making it back, your coat, Rit, did save them from freezing, but you all have 1 level of exhaustion. As
I
of
don't know
now,
what that
sitting
means.
down. It'll be on your character sheet. You can mark exhaustion. I believe it means you have a disadvantage on your saves until you take a long rest. You need basically a single long rest will knock out a level of exhaustion.
Where is it on the character sheet, though?
I'm not seeing it
In
either.
your
Conditions.
effects, conditions and effects.
Ooh, so on the right, underneath your hit points.
Yes.
Yeah, disadvantage on ability checks.
So you click on it and then
Click 1.
oh, at the very bottom,
Mm-hmm.
exhaustion 1.
Drathar, you managed to kind of keep your hands huddled into your body and pulled up different layers over your face to kind of protect yourself and give yourself as much of a chance to stave off the frostbite as possible. And Poppy, you just kind of shivered under the blanket, unfamiliar with this type of cold. Your hands and fingers, as you look down, are a pale icy blue from your fingertips to the middle of your palms, and you realize just then that you can't feel them and you can't move them.
What am I gonna do, you guys? Look. And
You guys are
Poppy's
gonna see this.
show her hands.
Geek, is there anything you can do?
Move forward. Yes, of course. Yes, I have just a little bit more juice in me, and she's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and cast. Probably either cure wounds or healing word. Probably cure wounds, in order to try to stave off the frostbite. And
Roll for healing.
rolling. Six.
Poppy, as Tika comes over to you and puts her hands over your hands, you see this green light begin to emit over them. And over the course of this spell, you begin to see your hands change color, where the frostbite recedes to your fingertips, but as it does, you begin to go from kind of warm, kind of numbness to a sense of pins and needles that becomes excruciating as it happens. And for 10 or 15 seconds or so, you are in extreme pain as the frostbite recedes from your hands. But then you are healed.
I think Estia, while this is happening, would like walk behind Poppy and just kind of wrap her arms around her shoulders and like hold on to her while she's going through this ordeal.
Yeah, Poppy's gonna be crying pretty hard for those few seconds because she's never felt anything like that before.
It's awful. It's like if you've ever had a limb where you sit too long and you have like a dead leg, or you sleep wrong and you wake up and then you get that pins and needles feeling, but this is extremely intense. It's awful. The barkeep comes over and he sees what you're going through, and goes back, and he's brought you all around. He goes back and brings you kind of a large, kind of a pitcher of ale. You're probably going to need this. That'll help a little bit.
Thank you.
I guess you will
I'm sorry.
grab some cups and start, serving it out to everybody.
Poppy's gonna thank him and wink at him.
He kind of gets a little
She recovered
startled.
quickly.
He gets a little startled by this and kind of looks uncomfortably and shuffles back towards the kitchen and comes out a couple minutes later with some very hot broth and brings it out for everyone at the table. It's a cold one out there tonight. Hopefully this helps. Why are you out so late? It's a bad idea to be out this cold. Frostmaiden is merciless.
Not from around here. Not quite used to it. But we had a job to do, and it was to find the Baumbers, and unfortunately we did. They didn't make it.
I hate to ask. What became of the Baumbers?
She stops herself from saying that they became stew as she looks down at the broth and turns to him. They didn't make it out in the cold. I'm sorry.
It's a shame. Thank you for telling me. He kind of turns and goes back to the counter and sits quietly to himself.
So Estia's kind of angry. She's upset that people left the Baumbers out there on their own for so long and that they met their demise. So she's going to kind of speak out at this point. She's over the ale and the broth. Why would a civilization such as this allow a family to be just missing for so long, going up against who knows what, just to be taken down and slaughtered by an old hag and made into a stew?
I'm going to see the barkeep look up.
Absolutely barbaric. And I should know.
Just completely dumbfounded. He kind of looks over at Tika, gives a soft sigh, and looks over at Estia mortified, but doesn't say anything.
I was trying to make it better.
It's
not
nothing
his
about
fault.
this situation is going to make anything better unless there's a fix to this problem. You can't just let these villagers just roam out into the wilderness unaccounted for and then wait until a group of random travelers shows up and then send them off after them as a rescue party. The whole situation is unheard of.
It's not his fault. He's the barkeep. He sees people come in and out every day. He's not keeping track of them. What we need to be yelling at is
Well,
The
who are
mayor.
the authorities? Who's in charge of this place?
the person who gave us the job.
Yeah.
Well, she shouldn't have waited so long to assign someone to the task. Because if someone had come even a few hours earlier, at least one of the Baumbers would have survived.
And with that, you're going to see the barkeep Bardaban slam both his fists down on the counter and stand up. I know you're new here, but it's not that simple. You shouldn't go casting about blame when you know not the toils that haunt this area. I told you the maiden is merciless. If they were out by themselves, they knew better. They were my friends. They were my patrons. They were fishermen here, caught and served fish to our guests. Many, many, many nights. Many feel their loss. But it is not uncommon for people to go out for days at a time. Food is hard, fishing is even harder. Finding untapped pockets of ice where the fish are congregating can sometimes take days. Not to mention the unbearable cold. Many have children. Many are afraid.
What?
You're new, but you'll understand in time.
I will never understand this lack of care when human lives are at stake. Not even human, just lives are at stake.
You don't
Everyone that
understand.
goes through their own hardships, and just because you happen to live in a cold weather environment doesn't give you the right to just dismiss the dangers that people are putting themselves in on a daily basis out here. I have every sympathy for the Baumbers, for their family, for their friends, and I only hope that from this whole encounter that something will change so that this doesn't occur again.
Were you not out there when a man was burned at the stake? Slaughtering heroes of ours? Those that would brave the cold? Confront the maiden? There are bad people here. People come to Icewind Dale to escape. There are a lot of good folk in Easthaven. I would say better than most that you're going to find in Icewind Dale. We're probably the most civilized town, city that you'll find up here. But even we have to deal with the harsh realities of life and survival in here. And if you refuse to understand the influence the maiden has wrought on this area, then you will be meeting your end soon.
So if this is all just a repercussion of the maiden taking over Icewind Dale, why hasn't she been dealt with? Why do people just go about their lives living under these conditions without actually confronting where all this hardship is coming from?
Many things are done for the maiden. Sacrifices are made, some human or otherwise, to try and placate her. Works for a time. But how do you fight a god? Have you ever fought a god? You seem to fare better than most. You apparently fought some kind of horrible witch that killed 4 of our fishermen to try and put them in a stew. There's yetis out here. Big cats out here. All manner of unspeakable things, including persons.
Are there vampire penguins?
He's just going to shoot a look at you. I bid you good night. You just don't understand. And he leaves from behind the bar and goes into a room off the hallway and slams the door.
Now we don't have a place to sleep.
You still have your rooms.
Oh, okay. Well, now we're sleeping in the Angry Man's house.
It's the white
I'd
lady
be angry
inn.
too if
It's
I
an
had
inn.
found out this news that friends of mine had gotten slaughtered. I feel sympathy towards Bardaman. I feel sympathy towards everyone that lives here, but I can't understand why they let this go on for so long.
Maybe there's more to it than we know.
I think there's a lot more to it than we know. And it's a force probably greater than they can deal with.
Well, if that's the case, I'd rather go back to where it's warm and be done with it.
But then aren't you as bad as all of them?
They choose to live here. Why is that my responsibility? I can't keep taking care of people that put themselves in this sort of danger.
Maybe they don't have any other choice. I think we need to learn more tomorrow. For now, let's eat our broth. Let's fill our tummies. Let's get a long rest. And let's piss some people off tomorrow.
Well, I'm all for that. Maybe I'll feel better in the morning. I am covered with this hag's blood still, so I'm off for a bath before bed.
I vote tomorrow. Let's not try to just piss people off. Let's try to find out what is actually going on. Because truthfully, I can kind of understand where they're coming from. The same thing happens in the towns. If you've lived on a street, you'd understand it.
That's fair. All right, guys. Let's call it a night.
Let me know when you're done taking a bath, ST. I'd like to try and clean up too.
I will.
And from there, I think Tika will probably also take a turn before she makes her way to the bedroom.
As you all have been sitting there, the cauldron which you brought in, which was covered in snow as you entered, has now been warming and the snow has melted in the corner, once again revealing a very ornate patterns and markings on it.
I mean, Ezgia's taking a bath, so she's not gonna notice the cauldron or any markings on it.
Tika will probably make sure that at least makes up to the bedrooms. Maybe with Draythar's help.
I mean, okay, so after Ezgia takes a bath, she might want to take a look at the cauldron and perhaps study it to get to know it better. How
Tika will
many
probably go to
hours does that take?
Just 1 hour to attune to a magical item. Takes 1 hour. You guys know that it's magical. You sense that in the cave.
So if nobody else is going to take an hour to check it out, Estia probably would while the other ladies are cleaning up, I guess.
Sure. Estia, you come back to the room while Tika is kind of trying to, get cleaned up herself. And you notice the cauldron sitting over in the corner, and you see that the kind of green hues over copper coloring, and get the sense that it's very old. Once again, looking at its size, its weight, the embossed kind of images of satyrs and nymphs, its clawed feet, you kind of get an idea. You feel drawn to put water into this cauldron. And
So,
go ahead.
Good. Oh, she was going to put water in it.
You go and you draw some water and you kind of fill the cauldron. Takes a decent bit of water, but you kind of feel compelled to do this. Next, you kind of take one of your pieces of wood and kind of chop it into kind of a stick kind of size and begin to stir the cauldron for a minute, seeing the reflection flicker and fade and warp.
What are you doing?
How entranced is Estia at this point?
She is pretty in the zone.
Okay.
You've been kind of studying this thing and looking at it, and took some time studying the images, and then kind of took some more time fetching the water. And it's been almost an hour when you start to stir this thing.
Okay.
And as you walk in and you see Esta stirring this, all of a sudden, Tika, you begin to smell something. You go, and as you look down, you see the water all of a sudden begin to steam. And you smell a hearty hot stew filled with vegetables and meat. And as you stop
What
stirring,
kind of meat?
not human meat.
Okay.
As you stop down and look at the stew, you realize that from nothing, this cauldron has produced food. And you kind of are imbued then with the magic of the cauldron and realize this is the cauldron of plenty. And if water is poured into it and stirred for a minute, it transforms into a hearty hot stew, which can provide a nourishing meal for up to 4 people per gallon. and the cauldron can hold 30 gallons of liquid. The stew
what is that?
will always remain hot in the cauldron and will cool naturally after it's removed. And the outside of the cauldron will remain safe to touch despite the heat of the stew.
Nice.
You realize that this can be done 3 times per day.
Whoa.
Whoa.
We don't have to worry about food anymore.
Us?
Tika,
What?
you don't know this. Only Estia knows this. You just smell this amazing stew and see Estia basically brewing something in your room with no fire underneath it. You all of a sudden just come in and you're like, what is that? And you see steam start coming up from the cauldron and kind of like a little bit of a shimmer as the magic kind of does its work. And you just start to see that all of a sudden at the top kind of bubbles up vegetables and little bits of meat. And you're just like, huh?
Yep.
Estia?
Added it to my inventory. So I guess after like that hour is up, Estia would kind of shake out of it and be like, well, I'm
Poppy's
certainly
gonna
glad we brought this with us.
Poppy's gonna come out of her room and knock on their door and kind of, what is that smell?
I'm just imagining it's like the middle of the night. They're just in this hotel
It's
room.
probably like 3 a.m. at this point.
Yeah.
It's really
Tika's
late.
gonna just open the door. Poppy?
What is that
She
smell?
made stew
What?
in the cauldron while I was showering. The heck, Estia?
So I think Estia would
we're-
explain exactly what happened.
I don't think we should keep it.
What are you talking about? Hot
Didn't you
steaming
hear-
food on demand?
It's a cauldron. We're not carrying that with us everywhere. And didn't you
It's
hear?
only 50 pounds. I'll carry it on my back. I'm not leaving it behind.
Didn't you hear Bartimir?
Bartabin?
Bartaby? Did you hear
Bartabin.
Barty downstairs?
Oh, I
He
heard.
said this town is suffering. What if we give this to them? It's like a sorry you lost the bombers. Here's some food you're gonna always have on demand. It's kind of a even trade as long as they don't kill us for telling them Bartimir is dead.
So you're saying we had to trudge out into the icy cold, go on a rescue mission,
Mhm.
fight an evil hag, and then come back and we need to reward the town?
I mean, we should obviously get something in return, but it would help them out.
I'm going to get some rest. As far as I'm concerned, I don't need to talk about it right now.
What do we do with this soup?
I'm in no state of mind to be giving away magical items.
Poppy's gonna go see if Draythar's awake and tell him what's going on. Draythar,
Yes,
she made stew in the cauldron.
that's what they're used for.
No, you don't understand. She didn't use a fire. It just like magically appeared.
That's fascinating. It was a magical cauldron. I'm gonna go to sleep
is it
now.
just Poppy and Drathar, right? In this conversation, I think, because they're in the other room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poppy's just gonna glare at Draythar.
Estienne went to sleep at this point.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Tika took like a little bit like of a taste, just kind of huffed, and then went to sleep, dreaming of rabbits and chasing them and making them into stew.
Are your little feet moving like the dogs do when they're dreaming?
Wait, are we
May
sharing a
have
bed
kicked-
though?
Yeah, she may have kicked
Ow.
Estienne once or twice.
Tika, please.
She's out. She doesn't hear you. She's dreaming of the little
wakes up with
rabbits.
bruised knees. She's like,
As long as she's not like a dog and keeps kicking like the wall, especially since she has hooves.
I need coconuts, damn it.
then they will, as long as there is nothing interrupting her, she will sleep until somebody wakes her.
All right. You can all take a long rest.
Bless the long rest.
All of you.
We recover.
With
Yeah, we had food and
exhaustion.
drink, so we'd
You
also-
can remove that effect from yourselves. You wake up feeling refreshed, and it's roughly noon. It's light outside. Due to the exhaustion, you guys didn't even care. That light started flooding into the room.
Estia doesn't really feel like talking to Bardaman right now. So she's going to walk over to the cauldron and use, if there's like a, I don't know, I think she has, I have cook's utensils. So she's going to use one of her cook's utensils to dish out some stew for herself for a lunch.
Food does get Tika up, so she will smell that new whiff of soup coming out. Look over, the idea of rabbits kind of fading from her mind. She sort of pulls herself out of bed, half bringing the blanket up with her, and kind of totters over. Do you have another bowl?
Actually, here, she tosses her a cup from her mess kit.
Thank you. And she'll go ahead and get herself some and just kind of sit all wrapped up in the corner with her soup. And then kind of knock on the wall between them. Dinner!
I
I thought they were across the hall.
Oh, I thought they were next to each other.
No, they're next door.
Okay.
There's a
That
balcony
makes more
across the hall. Or a railing, I should say.
Dinner! Y'all not waking up?
Aether probably would have been awake. He'll start heading over to the room, and when he opens the door, he'll just kind of look at the cauldron. Huh. It did make food. Interesting. I do want to point out it's lunch, not dinner.
It is lunch.
Agreed.
Although, depending on where you come from, dinner is lunch and supper is dinner. Just saying.
Oh, I'm going to call this lunch.
You can call it lunch.
It's food. Are you hungry? Eat it.
It's food.
If you're not hungry, we have a lot of soup and a whole bunch of people we could give it to.
Poppy's gonna wander over.
Oh,
and
yes.
say, I
12
wasn't
servings
dreaming.
a day will feed the whole village. Wonderful.
12 times 3.
No, 4 times 3. Okay. I think Estia's going to put down her bowl and go downstairs to apologize to Bardaman. Because she feels much more in a better state of mind after having slept and eaten and bathed.
You go
So you're going to go talk to Bardaman?
I mean, that's where she's going. So, yeah.
As you kind of leave the room and kind of walk out into the upper elevated area, the hallway there, you can see over the railing Bardaman's down behind his bar, just kind of wiping some flagons and, doing general cleaning bits. There's people that are there for lunchtime. It's just kind of normal day. They're serving. You can smell, things coming from the kitchen that are quite pleasant. And Bardaman just kind of looks up at you and then heads back down to the kitchen. As
You
if to
pissed him
avoid
off.
you.
I think Estia would go to like the bar and wait for him to come back out of the kitchen.
After a minute or two, he comes back out and serves some food to one of the tables and comes back to the bar. Can I get you something?
No, I'm quite well. In fact, I think I owe you an apology for last night. It was insensitive of me to speak with such passion when you were receiving such bad news, and I just wanted to apologize. I should have eaten and rested first before bringing up such a controversial topic.
Well, did not expect that. I will say thank you for your apology, but also urge you to heed the warning of the maiden. Where do you come from, anyway?
Golden Fields, and then Neverwinter.
Golden Fields and Neverwinter. I doubt you've seen colds like this.
Never, and I can't say I missed it.
Have you ever heard of the Frostmaiden, Orium?
Very little from my short time at university.
Interesting that they would teach you about her at university. I mean, she's only been here for about a year. What do they say at this university?
Oh dear, I hadn't studied for the final exam just yet. Well, not much specifically, just that she had cast maybe a curse across the land that made it always winter.
Aye, that she has.
Sometimes she appears as a white bird or other different manifestations of animals.
How do you know that?
I took notes in class from our professor.
Who? It's all so confusing.
Why
Her
would we not
spell.
know? Why would I not have this information? Is it not public knowledge?
Not many people know the plight of Icewind Dale, and those that do can't get here. She makes the spine impassable every day and night with her blizzard. The days grow shorter, the air grows colder, and the people here continue to suffer, but they have nowhere to go.
So you're saying we're trapped here?
How did you get here in the first place?
I worry you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But there was a portal. Lady Imdra was very hesitant to believe us. But our instructor made a portal, sent us through on a field trip, or so we were told. And then the portal collapsed and we were stranded out here.
Field trip? Field
Yes.
trip?
Like a practical expedition.
Why would you do that? Especially at this time, when the Frostmaiden's influence is so high, your teacher would be putting you in deliberate danger.
So you're saying our professor was intentional in abandoning us out here?
No. At worst, it was intentional. At best, it was foolhardy. Listen, Estia. You seem like a good person. Be wary. Even here in Easthaven, there are those, and he kind of looks around the room. There are those that would do harm. Imdra is a good woman. She tries to keep us safe. You can trust her, but be careful. This is not a good time. And your story is very confusing. I would keep it to yourselves from now on. People might get suspicious, and you might end up the next round of sacrifices to the goddess.
So if things are just getting worse and there's no way out of Icewind Dale, what is to be done? Other than survive as long as possible in this never-ending winter.
No one knows. Now we just try to appease her, and in kind of hushed voices. I dare not speak his name too loudly, but the man we burned Azan, he killed some of our best adventurers.
I don't know why he did it. Maybe he was under the influence of the maiden. But whatever his reason, it was cold and brutal what he did to them. I have a feeling there were more.
More like Hazan?
Of course. If he was working for the Frostmaiden, why would there be just one?
What about the adventurers? Are there any left?
I don't know about in any of the other towns, but like I said, we are one of the largest, if not the largest settlements, and there are no heroes left, and from what we know, no one can get in or out. You're in a very peculiar situation, Estia. I recommend you and your friends be very careful.
As much as I feel for the plight of the people here, my goal is to get back home. I have my own family to search for and not to be continuing out here trying to rescue people or stop a god. I just want to get back home.
Unless you have a portal out of here, I'm afraid that's going to be very difficult. You should talk with Imdra. She might be able to help you more. Unfortunately, with my simple inn, this is as much as I can give you. But you are welcome to stay here, especially for avenging the Baumbers. I will make sure there's always a room for you here. Like I said, they were close friends.
I only wish we had made it earlier in time to save them. But you're not going to be hearing from that hag ever again.
That does bring me some comfort.
Well, thank you for accepting my apology. I will return to my party and share with them what I've learned.
Be safe, Estia. You're always safe here. Know that. And he kind of leans back and just kind of puts on a face like nothing's wrong and goes back to cleaning his cups. Very nonchalant.
And Estia would scoot off the stool and head back up to the rooms.
Tika, who stood at the top, kind of watching this from afar, will follow her back into the rooms. That looked like a heavy conversation.
Poppy's gonna wander in and say, "What happened?"
Oh, he asked me to marry him, so that's all. Not
What?
actually.
Is he
I was
married?
apologizing for what happened last night. It was a large slice of humble pie, but it needed to be eaten, and so I went down. I owned up to my misbehavior from last night, and he accepted the apology and gave kind of a warning and more information about the situation with the Frostmaiden, and even maybe about our professor.
Tika will
What did
probably
he-
drill her, making sure that she like gets all the information that of the past.
Ooh,
I think
Wow.
Estia would have shared pretty much everything from that conversation about Hazan maybe being other evil agents of the Frostmaiden, and that there's no heroes left, and that Imdra was to be trusted, and that we should go back to her, and just that warning to be careful, but also the information about no way to get back.
And then it's only been a year since the Frostmaiden's been here.
She would also share it's only been a year since the Frostmaiden has been here.
Drather will kind of think on that as he's still eating his soup. So apparently we have gone through a portal, transported to Icewind Dale, and gone through time. Is what you're
Time?
saying.
Wait, through time?
When we were learning about all of this, it was about the past. He says it just started a year ago.
I didn't take very good notes. What are you saying? The professor said this was about the past?
We were learning about the history of it, which is the past.
Well, it's 1550 now. Should we ask someone here what year it is?
Did we go through time and space?
Well, yes, we went through space.
The space has been, yes, we've clarified that, but
Space is a guaranteed here.
It is much too early to learn that we may be time travelers.
what year was it that this all happened? I don't have it in my notes.
I didn't take any notes.
I don't have it in my notes either.
And let this be a lesson to you, Tika, my dear. Learning with professors won't get you as good of a grade as taking the thorough and detailed notes.
I don't flirt with professors. I flirt with the person who took the best notes right before the test, and then I make sure that I get their notes and I study it the night before, and then I pass the test with flying colors, and then I forget everything that I've learned, because that is how you pass school.
Well, I'm glad you didn't try it with me. I don't know about Drathar.
I will, by the power of the DM, grant Estia, Poppy, or Drathar some sort of note that talked about that the Frostmaiden plagued Icewind Dale in the year 1450, 51, and potentially into 52.
And we were when?
1550. We went back in time 100 years. This changes everything.
How?
Are you sure you took the note right, Estia?
Did we ever learn how it stopped? Did
No.
we stop it? Are we from the future, from the past, from the future, that we stopped it, and then we go back to the future, and then that's how the past stopped?
Ika, it's probably best if you don't think on that.
Probably. Let's talk to Emdra. Now I'm really confused. I don't even really want to talk to. I want to sleep and wake
I
up.
do think that we ought to keep the fact that we came through a portal and are from the future to ourselves.
You think?
Agreed?
Well,
They'll
isn't that
burn
what
us at the
Bardaman?
stake.
Didn't Bardaman tell you that we shouldn't talk about that?
Well, he didn't even know we're from the future. He just knew about the portal and said that was scary enough. If we go around telling people we're from 1550,
Right.
yes, the whole wizard burned at the stake. Let's just not go there.
We didn't learn how it ended, did we?
Drathar, you agree that we keep this to ourselves?
I always figured we probably should have. And as for you, Tika, I don't think it would be good if we actually knew how it ended. Anything that happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen the same way this time.
I've never dealt with alternative timelines before. And I've never actually traveled in time. I can't say that I have.
Either have I, but I don't trust anything, so I definitely don't trust what
Are my
possibly
clothes
happened.
from the future?
Was I drinking last night?
You're drinking all the time.
We're going to answer those
Oh.
questions after we take a short break.
We need a break for us all to get over this mind blown.
We're in the past.
For posterity's sake, time travel is something that none of you have heard of. Like, that is not magic that is known at all. This like you would literally be like, the just happened, because
Oh my gosh. Were
this
we
is-
supposed to
you've
notice
never
that?
heard of this.
Was that? Were we
Did
supposed
you
to
ex-
know this before now?
Yeah, I'm surprised it took
Did
you
you-
6 episodes.
Oh my god.
Really? What was the hint? Like,
The hint
I
is that the
never-
Frostmaiden exists.
I
The whole
wasn't
history
paying
class
attention
was
in
about
class.
how the
I thought when we were
Frostmaiden
learning about
plagued
it, it
Icewind
was
back
happening.
100 years ago.
I'm
That
not gonna
part I
lie.
caught.
Not gonna lie. I kind of noticed it early on. I just never cared to bring it up.
I
What?
thought she still plagued them. I wasn't paying attention in history.
I thought
class.
it was a-
Apparently
yeah.
Mr. Smurf was too Smurfy.
No, nope, she was defeated. At some point.
No, I believe that even during the class, when we had the class, someone asked, and apparently the roads were clearer now. You could travel to it now, but you couldn't before.
I remember that.
Ew.
Hence, we were learning about the past when she was around.
Yeah, I never caught the whole 100 years ago thing, but
Yeah.
100 years ago, back in Icewind Dale, great
That's not
owl
how the
lady
professor
plagued
talks,
the land
please.
of Icewind Dale, and apparently
That's not
my
the professor
students
voice,
take really
stop.
crappy notes.
Wrong man. I can't believe
I took pretty good notes.
I didn't take
Coder's like, I noticed, but like, I'm not playing.
Panther noticed he
Yeah, but
doesn't take
Coder
notes.
also doesn't have to worry about trying to create a character, and like Geigen doesn't have to worry about any like actual role played because he never talks. So
He's thinking.
Hey,
and
he put the dots together for
observing.
you.
I'm kidding.
You couldn't have mentioned earlier, Drathar.
No.
Listen, I'm done role playing for the night. I got into a fight and then I had to apologize. Everybody else can have their turn now.
Drathar is still waiting for you guys to actually earn his trust completely. He's still not quite sure about all of you.
I fed you
I'm like-
magical stew. What do you want from me?
It's true. She fed you magical stew.
She literally just fed me magical stew.
Oh, is that
I'm
it?
kinda
The
mind
way to a
blown right
man's
now.
heart is through his stomach.
Yeah,
And
it's,
he's-
it's an
He's still a
interesting,
Never
little
learned.
hurt.
an interesting. Now you guys have supposedly killed a sea hag, took her cauldron that she used to cook the Baumbers, and it now can make food. Hmm.
We just ate soup out of the Baumbers.
Well, I hope you cleaned it first.
Oh, she totally probably never did, but I'm an elf, so I didn't eat. I ate human. It's fine.
Tika never
It's a
ate human,
magic
unlike Gertie.
cauldron. It's fine.
I asked what type of meat it was.
The meat
It's
was
just like
probably
game.
not.
It's like rabbit, deer.
Yeah.
It's a mix
But-
of gamey meat.
It doesn't mean
Look
we don't
at
get a
the
little.
notes.
Look
Pull
at
out the doogie out.
look at.
It doesn't mean we
Never
didn't get a little taste of Baumber.
University of Adventurers, 1550 in the autumn.
Oh my god.
History 101 with Professor Alston.
Mm-hmm.
Goddess a real Icewind Dale. Like I took pretty darn thorough notes. I wrote down the dimensions for avalanches. Like, come on. But I
know.
never picked up on the fact that this happened 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. In a fun DM aside, I was actually reading you the entire first chapter of the DM's guide so that you guys would have a chance to know how to survive in extreme cold, in extreme conditions, and have a somewhat knowledge of the Frostmaiden.
Did we get any of that?
Whether or not you paid attention or not.
I
don't know.
mean, we did survive that avalanche. So
Tika's not smart.
that
I
was what was
did
kind of
slide
fun for
down a
me.
hill on the back of a shield. That was pretty cool. That wasn't from class though.
Listen in class, read the book for notes later. I know.
I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back.
No, Coder, that was honestly what was kind of fun is it's like normally players aren't supposed to have anything in the adventure guide, right? Like they don't know anything. It's all just kind of blind. But in this scenario, I got to like tease a whole bunch of stuff about the Frostmaiden, like the fact that she has multiple forms and all this other stuff. So they're kind of like, oh yeah, cool. Multiple forms. Yeah. Meanwhile, people have no idea in the main time period. Got all kinds of fun stuff coming.
Now, see, here's where we secretly just set up Etzia to be, you know, a god, and we are her acolytes, and she is going to stop the Frostmaiden, and we'll have a new religion based around Etzia for some reason.
Oh, okay. We can
And then
try
we'll
that.
get rich.
I'm gonna go get some water. I will be right back. It's a great idea. Coder likes it. Ship it. It's great. Done. That's the adventure, everybody. Ghana says to you.
Oh, this has been exciting. I can't believe it took us 6 episodes to realize we were in the past.
Well, sometimes, you know.
I wonder if anyone actually would have ever noticed why I never said anything.
Did you say something? Is that how we got there?
Yeah.
It shows you how much attention I pay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how we even got there. I was honestly, I'm Tika.
I noticed.
Tika and I have a couple similar traits. Somehow we both passed college with flying colors, but
With
we're
the
not
lack
sure
of a
how.
Brain?
Some summa cum laude over here, 3.98, but I don't know how I did it.
Apparently they felt bad and they just gave you a good grade.
Honestly, yeah, they looked at my face and they're like, we don't want her back.
Andrew in my chat just said, end of the campaign, traveling back to the future. Oh my God, we were in the past? That's how I'm reading it.
Oh my God. We were in the past?
Don't,
Like, wow.
don't worry, we still might get that because Tika might completely forget that we're in the past.
It's true.
That's true.
And we'll get in the future and somehow we'll hear
the
about
past?
the heroes that saved Icewind Dale and one will be named Tika. She's like, that's my name.
Oh my God. It's just like me.
That's wow.
Now if she dies
Is
first.
that what I was named after?
Yeah.
Yep. That one's was a hero Tika. She didn't make it. She was well liked. Always had beer.
Yeah,
I only
always
have,
had
what,
beer.
I think I have 7 beers left.
It's a
Or
thing.
more beers.
Beer's good.
Or more beers.
Beer is good.
Or more beers. I thought I put my beers in here. How many beers did I have?
More
Oh,
beer.
More beer. Other possessions. Where's my inventory? I didn't put my beers in here? I swore I put my beers in here.
Hi, Anger. How are you?
Beer. Yeah, my beer.
Boop, boop.
Add items. Beer.
You caught us just on our break.
How do I add beer? Custom.
How do you add beer?
Take
Unidentified
beer.
item. I wanna. No,
Place
I don't want
beer.
unidentified. How do I add beer? Add custom item.
The adventure goes good. Like I said, we're just finishing up break, and we just realized that we're from the future, and yeah.
Marty, we're from the future.
We're from the future, and we were flung back about 100 years into the past.
Great Scott.
Hmm.
We need to go 80 miles per hour. Is it 80? It's like
Yeah. Now we have to go
Aliens.
back to the future.
I'm not gonna lie, after this, Draythar might just keep things to himself. I'm not gonna lie.
Get a
when
flux
he notices
capacitor.
things.
Sorry, doggo wanted to be let out.
Thank you
It's
for
okay.
the follow, Night Tide.
You're welcome. I can't believe I hadn't followed already. I was like, well, good times any.
Shame on you.
Hey,
Goddess
I'll take the
Etria
shame.
is back.
Just kidding.
I did it live. I'll take the shame.
What are we talking about? Honey on all foods?
Honey on everything. Oh no, I got hiccups. This is
Estia,
bad.
you're gonna be our goddess. Did you miss that?
I don't know where that angry outburst came from. I didn't plan that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
Why
It's
the
our
very.
hell?
opportunity.
Are these mother snakes on this mother plane?
Why are they not saving these mother people?
Got a little
Exactly.
fired up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
He's getting fun times.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Everybody
Let's
back.
go see the guard bitch.
Lady
The-
Imdra?
She's the captain.
She's been
Can't
super nice to you. I don't know why you're calling her garbage. It's not very rude.
Garbage?
That's totally
That's
not what I
she
said.
Oh, what did you say?
Worse.
Oh, really?
Garbage.
Oh.
Guard bish.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna stick with the first one.
Yeah. She's
I'm so much
the
less
watch
offended.
captain.
My goodness.
If Tika wants to pick a fight, as she is all out of fighting.
I'm really starting to wonder my likelihood of surviving with this group.
Oh man, just you wait.
Step up and choose your fate, Drathar.
Oh, just you wait. Fact, hold on.
Trying to learn how to put white IPA made by a small Boston brewery in the year 1549 into my items.
Wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Moving on. You ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right.
Hmm?
Sitting in your room, you all have now kind of understood that you somehow have been magically teleported to a little under 100 years in the past. But at least you got food, you've got shelter, you got a magical cauldron with some stew. What do you do next?
Imdra. Let's talk to Imdra. Probably not tell her about the part that we're actually 129 years old.
In character.
No, we're negative 100 years old.
Negative one.
We haven't been born yet.
9.
How old is Poppy?
Poppy, I gotta double check, but I think she's like in her early 20s.
Okay, so she's still very young, even for an elf.
Yeah.
Okay.
For an elf, she'd be like 5 in human then.
I know she's a baby.
Mama.
Maybe that's why the Oedipus, or what is it, the Electro Complex is still in full effect. Daddy?
Daddy. Ooh.
Daddy.
Ooh, hello, Daddy.
Dang,
Wait.
Dracer's gonna feel old now.
You're welcome. All right, so you guys are going to go and talk to Imdra.
Dracer is just ancient.
How old's
old is
Drathar?
Drathar? Yeah.
Dracer is 106.
So you were still a baby when all this was going on.
Mhm.
Technically.
You might be able to go back and see yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you could meet yourself.
That was a very fascinating idea I had. Yeah.
Interesting.
Go back and give him some tips.
We're gonna
Watch
put a
out for those crazy people in your class.
we're gonna put a pin in that.
Hey.
Huh.
You
Tika's
make your
also
way
young.
Yeah.
out of
Wait,
the
how
White
old's
Lady
Tika?
Inn. How old is Tika?
29.
20.
What
Adulthood
are we
at 50.
rolling for?
They age at 500 is about how old they live.
Ooh.
So she's a wee babe.
It's probably, so she's also winking and saying, "Daddy." Anyway,
No, she's drinking. She's drinking babas.
Daddy. Anyway, anyway, you guys go out of the White Lady Inn, make your way down the snowy streets. Again, it's about 1 in the afternoon at this point, so kind of at the peak brightness of day. And you make it down to the town hall and go to outside Imdra's office. And you knock at the door. She answers and beckons you in. Did you bring the cauldron or not?
Left it in the hotel room
Okay.
and locked the door.
Okay. Come in, come in, come in, come in. I'm very relieved to see you. I did not expect to see you so soon. It's only been about a day. Were you able to find the Baumbers? Any sign of them?
Sorry to say, they were dead.
Dead?
All of them.
You could say they were a bit
Lit?
of a stew meat.
Not to hide anything, we ran into a hag who decided to have them for dinner.
All 4 of them.
That
But
is
the
most unfortunate.
hag is dead. And so is her giant skeleton giant.
Well, I'm thankful that you avenged them, but could you please give me a more detailed account of events? I need to know where you were, what you did, what happened. Tell me everything from the top, please.
So, do we tell her about the harpies? I think we tell her about the harpies that we encountered first. We killed one on the way. Another one we injured and it flew off. Then we saw some tracks leading to a cave. We went to get shelter for the night, and then we heard some sounds, and on further investigation, we found a little campsite within the caves. And then below that, on a frozen icy river, we continued to follow the sounds, and that's where we saw the hag and the last of the bombers.
But we were too late to save them.
The hag had already used them for her stew.
But
It
she is now
seems-
gone.
Yeah, it seems that she may have probably used a lot of people for her stew.
I did slice her in half with my axe, though. So there's some consolation in that.
She's going to be like very quiet as you were recounting this and just kind of scribbling down some notes as you talk. When you get to that last bit, she puts down her pen on her desk. That would explain a number of different disappearances and makes it all the more unbearable to know what happened to them. I do thank you for finding them and for killing the hag. I'm glad that she will no longer be a threat, but we'll keep an eye out for that harpy if it ventures too close to town.
Don't exactly know they won't be a threat. There could be more hags. They usually tend
Did you
to.
explore the whole of the cave, or were there places left alone?
A small portion we did not explore. But unless she's friends with wolves, pretty sure it was cleared out. But I mean, maybe they weren't in that cave. Maybe they were in a different cave. I'm just saying it's better to be thorough and not think that trouble is no longer there than to think we are safe, considering apparently there is this evil lady casting snow and frost, and we can't leave.
She shoots you a weird look, Tika. Yes, we're aware of the Frostmaiden. I also made you aware of the Frostmaiden. Again, your peculiar arrival aside, I am very happy that you came back safe. I'm sorry to hear that you met with sus resistance, but I speak on behalf of all of Easthaven when I say that we are very grateful to you for your service. And you now have the trust of this guard and of this city. If there's anything I can do to help you, I will.
We just want home.
And home is south,
correct? Neverwinter,
Yes.
you said?
Far south.
That's going to be near impossible at this moment. Auriel has this place on complete lockdown. Blizzard allows nay but the strongest and hardiest over these mountains.
That I definitely am.
You are
not.
the first new faces we've seen in 6 months.
Who was the last?
Sadly, the adventurers which Dazan killed.
How do we know he's the... I mean, how did this all come about? Okay, so we know a little bit, but why isn't there more resistance? Why are you just killing people for her instead of trying to stop her?
She's going to shoot you an extremely cold look. And she's going to roll to intimidate you.
You're gonna try to intimidate all of us, or just Tika?
Just Tika specifically. That's a 15.
What do I got? What do I got to do? Saving throw?
Yeah.
Okay. I would roll 2.
You got to do better than 15.
And it would be, what would it be? Just a regular roll or intimidation? Or
It'd be a charisma save.
charisma save?
Mm-hmm. Which is helpful for you because you're a bard.
Oh, sorry, D8. So 14.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a chance to roll one more time. Only one dice this time.
No, oh wait. Oh wait, it's not magical. It's not magical. My bad.
No. She's
gonna get very intimidated. She's a young satyr who doesn't know how to roll dice.
She does have all of us backing her up, so would that not give her an advantage?
No, not at all. Imdra's a
Worth a
very
try.
imposing lady. And she's going to
But we're
shoot you
supposed
a
to
look,
like her?
Tika.
Okay.
You had best watch your words, young lady.
Yes, ma'am.
You are new here. Best not to cast dispersions upon others for things they are trying to do to stay alive. I give you this one warning. Do not judge in my office. I do everything I can to protect these people. I discourage human sacrifice, but there are those among us that feel it's the only way to appease the goddess. And to that effect, she leans in, right in Tika's face. You are very, very lucky that you have proven to be noble and useful. And I will be happy to protect you. But make no mistake, outside of these city walls, you are just as vulnerable as everyone in Icewind Dale. And those amongst 10 towns will not hesitate to do whatever they can or sacrifice whoever or whatever they need to see another day. Am I clear?
Crystal.
But what of these other adventurers that you said showed up 6 months ago?
Yes.
Where did they come from?
They somehow made it through the pass. There was a large Goliath fellow and 2 druids that made it through. Unfortunately, Dazan killed them in a rather despicable way in ritualistic fashion, which we can only assume from his rantings was an offering to the goddess Auriel.
Were they known as the Donner Party?
No. I don't know anything about Donners. Should I? Are they missing too?
No, I just knew of a large Goliath fellow. And I wondered if it was him.
No. These heroes were strong, really strong. Much stronger than you. And through treachery, they met their end. I unfortunately don't know how to get you home. I'm trying to explore some different options here in Easthaven. But until I come up with something, you all need to lay low and keep busy. Did you find anything in the cave, at least anything useful?
Do we still have those papers with all the dwarven on it?
We should.
I don't know who picked it up. I can't remember who it was.
I have them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We found these. And I'll pull them out of my bag and hand them to Imdra.
She looks over them. Could you not read these?
No, I'm sorry. I can't read Dwarven. What are they?
They're notes. Very old notes. Written in Dwarvish. Seems there was some kind of hot spring in these caves. It must be that hag was there for quite some time.
Well, especially if there were hot springs, because everything was frozen in the cave.
Well, it's only been a year, but these notes predate that by much, much more.
That would make more sense why she had kind of made her home there.
I'll read you this passage. I think there's someone living in these caves. Shortly after discovering the hot spring, I heard what sounded like a granny singing. When the song ended with a shrill laugh, dread sunk its teeth in me. Ye gods, the horrible cackle. I shall leave these caves in the morning and never return.
Sounds like someone didn't make it until morning.
Apparently not. But you did, and that at least says something. Listen, I don't have a formal reward to give you, but I do have some of Dazan's effects that I could give you. And she opens up a little cabinet in her desk and pulls out 2 items. I don't know what these are, but I believe I could let you take one of these. One of them appears to be a scroll with a seal on it. It looks like a symbol of a flame. And the other is a small hand-size gray bag. Do either of these things interest you? I believe they're magical items.
Do you happen to have maybe a pearl and an owl feather somewhere that we could potentially borrow?
She's going to look at you very puzzled. Maybe it's somewhere in the market?
Can we maybe potentially find these items before we choose? So we could possibly identify what you have within your hands?
Listen, I could potentially get in trouble for giving you either of these. Would you just pick one?
Okay, someone else choose. She's intimidating.
Personally, I would be more interested in the bag.
Go for it, Drathar.
I agree with Drathar, yes.
Then Lady Indra, we will take the bag.
She takes the bag and tosses it at you, Drathar.
Drathar will catch it and then just kind of look over the bag.
It's a very unassuming gray bag. It's about the size of your hand. It feels like it has something inside of it. It's very light. When you open it up, you don't see anything. It appears to be empty.
Drathar will put his hand in the bag to see if he can feel anything at all, or if the bag stretches or anything.
You don't feel like the bag stretches at all. But you do feel kind of something that feels kind of fluffy.
Drathar will try to grab it and pull it out.
You pull out this little kind of fuzzy ball.
It's alive.
No, it's not alive. It's just a fuzzy ball.
Drathar will just
You
kind of
could try
move
to
it around
cast
his
animal
hand.
friendship on it if you wanted to, Tika.
No, she needs to try to talk to it again.
Bestia.
What?
Ask her how we can help defeat the scary lady so we can get home. She's kind of scary herself, and I don't want to defeat her. I want to scare the evil lady who's cast all the snow things on the places. So can you help her? Can you help by asking her how we help with that?
I only heard about half of what you said. Lady Imdra, perhaps there's another task or mission you could send us on that would reward us the scroll?
I don't think I can. These objects are technically evidence, and there's still an investigation ongoing as to if there was anyone else involved with Dazan. We feel that there may be more bad actors in town. I'm
Lady
trying,
Imdra.
I'm trying to be
Of the
helpful
wizard.
here.
Lady Imdra. I'm
Yes.
sorry somewhat for my companions at times. They are young, but we do wish to help this village as best we can while we try to find a way back home. So if there's any more work that we can do, we probably would be interested in that. But if possible, for completing this, even though we did not find the Baumbers, if there's any way you could help us become better prepared for the travel outside, better equipped, that would be appreciative. And then we could do possibly more work to help.
Well, can any of you fish?
I
With
can
four
fish
of
a
our
bit.
best fishermen out, we certainly need help gathering food. Even collecting a day's worth of fish would be an admirable help.
Poppy's gonna kind of look at Estia and just kind of mouth the cauldron.
Are you saying that the village is low on food supply?
I'm saying that it's increasingly hard to feed us. Yes, with the lock frozen over, there's only so much we can do to keep food in store. What little we have seems to get smaller and smaller every week.
Estia knows that Poppy's trying to get her to tell Imdra about the cauldron, but she's just gonna let it sit. She's gonna let it stew, as it were.
Very punny.
I mean, fishing really isn't something we're all that great at, but we've proven to be somewhat helpful against creatures of the snow. What could we do to help you suss out maybe who the wizard murderer dude was, help him, or how do we get rid of this snow lady?
If you knew how to get rid of Ariel, by the gods, it would be priceless. Unfortunately, we don't.
We
That
have
said,
one more day
there
left.
is something you could do if you don't mind.
putting yourself back in a potentially dangerous situation.
Better than kicking around the inn or fishing. Doesn't seem very fun.
Keep this quiet. Do you understand? What I'm about
Yes,
to
ma'am.
tell you is classified. Last night, there was an attack on the town hall.
By whom?
Why?
We don't know. There were some pieces of a ship missing.
A ship. Why was there a ship in the town hall?
Not an entire ship, pieces of a ship. Made of chardolin. It's a quite expensive and rare substance.
Doesn't seem like they have very many people to sell it to right now.
Hmm. Please keep this to yourselves. We don't want people to panic. There were those that said they saw a number of Duergar running away from the town hall in the middle of the night.
Saw a number of what?
Duergar. Dark dwarves.
Okay.
Have you not heard of them before?
I haven't heard them called that, sorry.
Is there a path to the Underdark near here?
We don't know.
That would be bad.
I have very little details on this, but I would encourage you to discreetly go next door to the town hall and find Speaker Waylon. Waylon will be able to tell you more about what happened and maybe put you on the right path to recovering the stolen figurehead.
They stole the figurehead of the ship?
Yes. Aren't you listening?
Not you, Lady Amdreth. It's the way the Tika is.
You said pieces. I didn't know it was the figurehead.
I'm betting that Waylon would pay handsomely for their return. For us, it's more of a sacred artifact to the town.
Okay.
All right, we can head to the town hall and speak to Speaker Waylon.
Okay.
I
That's
do
all.
have something that might be of help to you as well. And ST is going to reach in her backpack and pull out this 30-pound chunk of Craig cat pelt with meat and say, I bet you could feed a good number of villagers with this.
Yes. Yes, we could. Are you
Then
sure?
it's all yours. Give it to whoever's most needs it.
Thank you. All right. Get to it. Come back
Yes,
and see
ma'am.
me if you're able to figure out what happened, and I will see what I can do about getting you some more information or some more work, something. Thank you once again for finding the Baumbers. It means a lot more than you know.
And Tika will very carefully try not to make too much noise as she exits the building from the scary lady.
And
We should have-
Tia will take her much lightened backpack and follow along.
We should have
Poppy's
asked
going
for
after.
directions first.
Drather will be a little lagging behind as he's kind of looking at the bag, but then he'll start heading out with them. When he gets outside, he'll kind of call to each of them, though, and try to bring them over to him.
Poppy's fairly close and will walk up to Drathar and ask, what is that fuzzy ball?
I believe it's just a fuzzy ball. I do not know.
I mean, if we could go to the market and find a pearl and an owl feather, I may be able to figure out what it is.
That's a lot of money, which we don't need to worry about right now.
But there's a fuzzy ball and it's really cute. And I mean, what is this ship thing? It doesn't
Come on,
seem that
y'all. We have
important.
to go talk to Speaker Waylon. We don't have time for this.
Before we do that, I think we need to realize that chances are we can't just go back. It's not a matter of just going south if it opens up.
Why not?
Because we're not in the same period that we should be. If we go south, you're not alive yet.
Drathar's right.
So you're
go-
saying we need to stay here for another 100 years?
We might
I'm
need to
gonna
stay
be
here
old by then.
and try to find a way that we might be able to get possibly that portal back open, or some other way here that will send us back to our own time.
I mean,
The teacher
How?
might have
The idea
teacher
of
might have
time
sent us
travel is
here.
just unheard of.
The teacher might have sent us here for some reason. Who knows? I don't understand.
why
it.
would he send us? What
Maybe
do
he hates
any
us
of
all.
us have to offer?
Maybe
No
that was the point.
offense.
I don't know, but he may have had the intention of coming with us too.
There's no reason he would have sent us. He would have gotten a group of hardy warriors or something. We're just a group of students who, frankly, have very little idea what we're doing.
Obviously, but we should stop trying to just try to constantly always try to get back south. Right now, I don't think that'll help us. If we go south, we still have another 100 years that we have to go. We might have to be here.
What if there's no way back? Or forward? How long did the ice lady stick around?
It
Maybe
was
somebody
like
else
1 to
come-
2 years. But
I mean,
things could
maybe-
be different here.
Is that how time travel works? Wouldn't it eventually get fixed? And what if our professor eventually comes back? I mean, maybe if we just stick around here, how would he even know time travel? This whole thing is very, very confusing.
That's why I think for now we should, at least for now, make this kind of our base of operations, do some work for the town, and get ourselves ready to be able to survive. And while we can, investigate and try to find ways to return.
By
Agreed.
helping the town, we can figure it out.
I mean,
Figure it out, and if anything, nothing else, we're at least preparing ourselves to survive better here.
they do have mead. I suppose it can't be too bad. Then I guess we go to the town hall and we talk to
Wayland.
Speaker Waylon,
Waylon.
and ask him what are these dark gray dwarf things? And what were you talking? There might be an entrance to the dark evil world of the underneath. What is this? Is that a way out? I mean, what is that a way up? Forward? In? What does this all mean? Who are they?
For now, let's just go talk to Wayland. Teaching you about the Underdark would take way too much time.
Yeah, definitely don't know. We don't know as much as we ought to, but we definitely know more than we did a few days ago.
I was just going into trying to talk to Speaker Waylon and then going to the Underdark. Sounds like a really bad idea when we're already stuck in the under snow. Under 100 years ago. Now we're going to be in the Underdark? This doesn't sound like a very...
maybe by speaking to Speaker Whalen, we'll be able to figure out more.
Fine, let's go. Where are we going?
Graythar
anybody
will
know
start
where to-
heading to the town hall to go see Wayland.
You know where the town hall is?
Wasn't it just nearby us? Because that was where the guy was being burned, wasn't it?
Oh, accurate. All right, let's go see the Smoke and Ash and talk to Mr. Speaker Whalen.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way over next door to the town hall. A 2-story building made of mostly wood, some stone. As you walk in the front door, you see a large chamber decorated with oil paintings depicting life in Easthaven. There's a large painting of the town itself on the north wall. Mounted on the south wall is a 5-foot-long knucklehead trout, and a wooden plaque bears an engraved copperplate that reads, "Big Knuck, caught by Easthaven fishers during the summer of 1479. As you scan around the room, you see a couple people standing kind of on the left side of the area, and a door that leads to the right. As you go towards the door on the right, it has a sign that says administration. One of the men walks over to you, Tika. Excuse me, miss.
Yes?
A moment.
Okay.
I just need to see something here.
Um,
Please, just for a moment. I want to revel in your beauty. It's not often we get your kind up here in Easthaven.
I've been here a long time. You just haven't been looking. We've been here for like 100 years.
Oh, is that so? Is that so?
Uh-huh.
Tika, as you look at this guy, he appears to be wearing kind of studded leather armor. He has a rather large scimitar hanging off his waist and a bow and quiver around his back. You would guess he's probably some kind of a tracker of sorts. And he pulls out a paper and he unrolls it. Oh yeah, unmistakable. And he turns the paper around, and it's an image of you. It's a wanted poster. And we're going to end there for tonight.
Oh my god.
The question is, what did Tika do? Or what did someone that looks exactly like Tika, what did one of Tika's ancestors do?
My grandmama!
Oh,
She was a whore!
no, that would be Poppy.
Oh my gosh, I wish you could just quote that. My grandmama, she was.
You'll find out next week.
Oh my god.
If you guys are
Uncle
catching this on
Grandmama.
YouTube, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content and more. Make sure you hit the like button and the notification icon for whenever we go live and or new videos go live. We love your
Follow
faces.
us on Twitch.
We will see you guys next time.
Yes, thanks to
They never
my
get the
people.
nose right.
That said, if you guys are still here in the
Never
stream,
get
what
my
up,
nose
fam?
right.
Yeah,
What up, fam?
crazy.
Oh my god, there's a wanted poster for Tika and she hasn't even had a beer this morning.
Tika, what'd you do? How
I
could
know.
you?
Oh my god, I'm so excited for next week. I can't wait.
How could you?
It's Tika's grandmama. She was a whore and a thief.
She stole my heart and my cat. God, please tell me somebody's seen
This
So
will
Married
be
and Accident.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Please. please.
So
Ooh, I'm
next
so
episode,
excited.
we're gonna have fried lamb on the steak.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me?
Well,
Yep.
A
Oh.
satyr!
Was Tika sneaking out from her room with Ezia during the night?
No, she
Doing
went
some
out with
crazy
the bard,
things.
remember?
When- she's
Oh,
like,
that's
I was just drinking this little like gray
The
dwarf
only way
guys.
Ezia would be involved with that is if she was the designated driver. I'm just saying.
I started drinking with these dwarves down in the bar, and they were like, "Hey, we want to show you something cool in the town hall." And I just went over there, and they started breaking stuff and killing people, and I was like, "I'm out of here." And I don't know what happened. I thought it was a bad
really enjoys
dream.
is late night stew making. Apparently,
Oh man.
It'll be
Yes.
interesting.
that's where the real
God.
party is at.
Okay, my
Carrying
question
magical
is,
cauldrons.
Hi, you wizard.
did he only have one on him? One, oh my god, I would assume he has a lot of wanted posters on him.
He
He only
pulled out
called
one.
you over. He didn't call the rest of us over.
He said, "Excuse me, miss. I just need to gaze upon your beauty just for a second."
Revel
He
in her
wasn't
beauty, I
having any of
think,
that.
is
She
what
had
you
like
said.
She had like an immediate not like of this man, so I think she did good for once in her life. She rolled a 16 in her intuition.
Yeah, well, your intuition tells you that there's no running from me, dearie.
Yeah, you don't seem
You're
very
mine.
nice.
Hey guys, I have an emergency. I have to end my stream and
You're fine.
hang up with you guys. So,
no.
I hope
thanks
everything's
for
okay.
coming, and I will
Bye.
talk to y'all soon. Thank you.
Yep. See you, everybody.
Maybe.
All right, we're going to end it over here on the YouTube side as well. Wizard, if you want to hit me up in Discord, I want to chat with you for a couple minutes since you're still awake. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I love your faces. Again, please make sure that if you're not following the Dungeon Nytes Twitter, that you do that. Again, we're going to have giveaways coming up later this month and next month and every month, along with Patreon getting started up next week. We're going to have restreams going from YouTube and to Twitch to the Dungeon Nytes Twitch channel. So many fun, awesome stuff and things. Thank you guys for being awesome and supporting what we do. And it's going to be an awesome year. Love your faces, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we end.